What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another pre-market watch list. Ideally, what we do in this video is go over all of the stocks that people are actively talking about each and every morning, or where people are most likely going to be gearing up to trade. While we do that, we try to give you pretty much the most exact price points, entries, exits, and kind of break points to follow on these stocks as well. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into today's session. And to be completely honest, there's not a ton to look at. We're in the summer season and the market is generally moving a little bit slower. So the first thing that I will mention or will show is this PLBY. So this is Playboy. Actually short bias on this stock, and currently today just entered a swing short with 200 shares. So nothing too crazy, nothing too small, decent sized position. So currently looking for the stock PLBY to start decreasing. Even if it goes a little bit higher, that's okay too, because I believe we have entered into a good selling location. So what I mean by that is, since PLBY has been on just an absolute tear, the volatility is really high, the stock's pretty much just been going straight up, we're probably going to be looking for a pullback on this pretty soon. So I decided to enter short with 200 shares today. And if in the event it goes a little bit higher, keeps going up, and maybe I need to average the short up, might do so. All right, so what I want to show you is right here, this blue line on the screen, when I bring it back. Pretty much the way that we view this is anything over this blue line is overbought. So anything over the price of $35 on PLBY is currently bought. And the same goes for this time frame over here. Anything over the blue line on that chart is theoretically overbought. And you can see clearly the last time PLBY had gotten over this blue level, we ended up selling down. Same thing, we got over this blue level a little bit and we're starting to see a little red. So overall, what this means is PLBY is in fact overbought. You can even see the relative strength index is up at about 80 right now. Not that I follow that too much, but overall, PLBY definitely overbought. We're going to be looking for this to start coming lower as a swing trade, maybe through today, going into next week. And if it's a legitimate breakdown the way that we want it, we could very well see prices of $34 on the pullback. So prices all the way down to here. Or prices even all the way down back to 29. So really we're looking for a move into the $33 to $29 zone as the first pullback, and then there should be support somewhere in the 29 zone for PLBY. So that's one of the things that we're working on for right now. Something that has been moving that everyone's been watching is this stock EFOI. All right, so EFOI was pretty much one of the penny stocks today that started moving in what appeared to be a bullish pattern, okay? So for most, they would look at PLBY this morning. Strong move up, pullback, push up, looks like a cup and handle, looks strong, and they're probably all buying right here, trying to get this to break out, right? Well, little did everybody know buying here for this breakout, they didn't know that this price point of 455 was a long-term resistance mark, and we also had a 50 moving average here. So let's look at this time frame here on the right. So if we go to this right screen, all right, we were on a nice push this morning, but what most people fail to recognize is right at the price of 457, this is what we would call a long-term half deviation price point. Can be used as a resistance a lot of times, and you see this red line here, that's a 50 moving average. So pretty much that means this stock had a move from low risk 9 moving average up to the next trending target, was not able to break through, market sells down. So if in the event EFOI is actually going to amount to anything special today, we would typically suggest that, and also if you look at the daily chart, there was a half deviation price point here at 462. So it was kind of running into double resistance. So again, what we're going to look for on EFOI is if this is really going to amount to anything special, it'd be anything good, we don't want to see it fall below 417, and you'd want to get it all the way back up and through the pre-market high. Not because it's the pre-market high, but because this is where the long-term deviation resistance price point is. So you won't see a significant breakout on EFOI today unless you get it up and through the price points of 461. All right, next thing that we're going to talk about here is, well, for one, we could talk about Doge, but I can't bring Doge up on TOS, so we're not going to talk specifically. We're not going to be talking about Doge here this morning. But what we will do is go take a peek at Bitcoin, because everyone's really, gearing up on this whole Doge thing. So if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin did in fact pull back off of the highs. Now, something that I've been watching for a long time is this bearish divergence that Bitcoin has been in. So if you look at Bitcoin, it has been having a bearish divergence. What that means is every time that it goes into a new high, it's doing it on less momentum. So the high of 40,000 was the most momentumous, or had the most momentum, as opposed to every high thereafter going into new highs. You can see the momentum has decreased. That can be a signal that the market will in fact take a rolling over bearish move. Again, this is Bitcoin, so it's a little bit of a different monster. So whether or not that holds true here this time, we'll see. But it doesn't surprise me that we've had this pullback here, right? Because that's kind of been the trend. Up, pullback, up, pullback, up, pullback, up, pullback. So we're just kind of doing a nice trend to the upside. But that being said, don't be surprised if you see it even lower, because there has been a long-term trending bearish divergence on that stock. Now, the reason I wanted to touch on that is because that's going to take us on over to MARA and Riot. So you'll notice that today, MARA and Riot ended up dropping down, again, because Bitcoin did. Now, if you look at the screen on the right, MARA might in turn be a great dip buy today, because if you look at, we came from trending resistance here, fell all the way down through the halfway point. So again, right, we moved down, bounce, roll over, break trending support, move to our next trending support. So it would make sense to maybe even see a dip buy to a long trade on MARA and any of the cryptocurrency stocks in the market today. Something else we'll touch on is EBON. EBON is another kind of crypto mining stock play. So this company is known to be mining Dogecoin. I believe that's the case, that EBON actually mines Dogecoin. So Dogecoin's been killing it, obviously, over the past day or so. So a lot of people are gearing up on EBON today. So let's go maybe best case scenario for right now that I see. Best case scenario would be EBON moving from this 448 price all the way up into the 488 or 486 to $5.15 range. The reason I mention that price point is if we look at the screen on the right, the nearest or closest trending, I guess you could say resistance, or trend point is starting at 486. Then after that, the next closest is at 5, or it's actually 517, maybe a little higher. So this creates sort of a target zone. So I'll highlight this from this red line to this red line up here. That would kind of be your target profit zone where you want to go, right? So not that it's going to get there, but in the best case scenario, that's where we could see the markets going to today. Because remember, anything over this blue line is overbought. So whenever we go over the blue line, we would most likely look to target into sort of that green area. So for now, we're going to be looking for, at most on EBON, targets of 486 to 520. Mind you, I'm not really that crazy about EBON overall as a stock, but given the Doge, given this momentum, we might be able to see sort of a push on this stock, okay? Now we're going to touch on the stock NVIDIA. If you guys remember, just the other day we mentioned NVIDIA, and you should probably just be long biased. The stock was going to break all-time highs, and there was a good chance it would continue running. So we've seen NVIDIA break all-time highs, and it's still running. Right now, we're probably going for a target of 677. 677 is a pretty reliable target we could probably get to. Given how NVIDIA moves, the range is pretty big, all right? And that is the 3 deviation mark on the 4-hour chart. So if NVIDIA moves up to 680, we'll probably see a little pullback there. But again, 680 lines up pretty close to this 1 deviation mark here. So to put it simply, we have a breakout into all-time highs right now on the stock NVIDIA. It doesn't really have what I believe to be too much resistance until it gets into the 677 range. So if this is legitimate and the market really doesn't have that much resistance until 677, then there should be no reason as to why the stock can't reach those prices, right? The stock needs to find areas of sellers to come down. If there's no big sellers until 677, the stock can stretch, right? So with that being said, we're still going to be long biased on the stock NVIDIA, probably closer to prices of 677 for now. That being said, that's pretty much our watch list today. I hope you guys learned something new. Other than that, everybody, take care, and I'll see you guys on the next watch list. Take care.